Oswald, thank you so much for agreeing to have this conversation with me.
For sure.
We've been at this amazing event, the Exchange, and flowing through, I think, every conversation is sustainability, the environment, climate, I mean, how we make a better world. And I've never really come across a consultancy, I mean, I've worked in quite a few law firms, worked with a lot, that where this idea of positive change seems to be so much embedded in the organization and what you're doing. Could you just describe a little bit about that? Where does this come from?
Yeah, so I think the good news now is that more or less every enlightened person understands that we are in trouble. From the latest IPCC report, if you just look around in Europe, if you look at the social trouble that we are in and the radicalism, so basically I feel there is an enormous interest in killing pollution and creating millions of jobs in the transition to a green economy. So that's what motivates us.
And that's a profitable business?
Xynteo, you mean?
Well, yes, as a concept.
Yeah, we are a business, and since I was 15 years old, I've always believed in succeeding in the marketplace. That you have to give something into the marketplace who people are willing to pay for. So that keeps us very honest and makes us really focus on how to help large multinationals get into a safer growth model. That's basically what we work on.
Wow, and you do this by, I mean, is this a sort of typical way that Xynteo works in terms of bringing different perspectives and skills and people together?
Yeah, so the question is, how do we create scale? And clearly we need to bring a lot of the right people onto this mission, onto this platform, and we use the exchange to do that. The second is, how do we bring forward the right projects? Mm-hmm. So we use the exchange for that, but that is something we also do bespoke with companies. And then we connect these bespoke projects or the projects we incubate with capital and talents from a big talent pool, and then we start to accelerate. So for example, in India, we work on sustainable mining. Mm-hmm. We work on waste value. We work on the energy transition, and we work on a couple of other projects. Very tangible projects that we develop with large multinational companies, and then we try to make them work in the market.
Okay, and is there a mission at the heart of Xynteo's business?
So the mission is for us to, what we basically see is that we believe from the time of Adam Smith through all the philosophers, we have seen that markets can help us a lot. We believe in markets and economic growth, and it has been an enormous blessing for us. However, there are like three problems with this growth model today. The one is the conflict between man and nature.
Yeah.
The second is the conflict between the few and the many. And the third is the intergenerational gap. So what we are, a conflict actually. So what we are saying is that the growth model needs to be adjusted or actually reinvented. So that's our mission, is to reinvent growth together with business, together with policymakers, NGOs, etc.
But if I remember correctly, I mean, even Adam Smith and the Wealth of Nations, he even in that book from hundreds of years ago, talks about rapid growth, but he also sort of predicts a plateauing of that growth. Do you think that's where we are?
Yes, I think so. That's one of the views, and of course, some businesses have reached a plateau, and so, for example, there are many businesses we work with today where the management would say, if we didn't exist today, would we have invented it now? Mm. And they basically live on legacy systems, and they are going to carry on for a little while. So some industries and some businesses have plateaued a long time ago. For example, interesting, this example with Nokia, which is a company I've worked with quite a bit in the past. They just lost one technology cycle, and the company went from $117 billion in value to 17. This is a few years ago.
Yes.
So it's not only that there is a plateauing, but there is also discontinuity today, which you could hardly imagine. If you look in India, for example, telecom, it's the same.
Well, one of the things I've always had a huge interest in looking at historical technological transitions to see what they tell us about the situation we're in now, and they're all different.
Yes.
But there seems to be one commonality in a lot of transitions is that the incumbents, the majority, 9 out of 10, always seem to fail to survive. Do you think we're in a similar situation where a lot of the incumbents, particularly like fossil fuel companies, are going to struggle to survive the energy transition we're in? Or do you think a lot of the focus around climate and the need to transition actually might be the thing that saves them and allows them to make this transition?
So I think some of them will be able to transition into there will be a need, in my view, for gas for quite some time. Hopefully we will get rid of coal quickly, unless it can be cleaned up. And some of these oil and gas companies are putting up a good fight to be part of the new economy, while others will surely disappear. So I think that's exactly what we have seen in banking over the years.
Yeah.
When the new technology came, there were certain banks which embraced them and could do that in a good way, other banks went away.
So there seems to be something that's very personal to you, this idea of positive change, sustainability, climate, and it's something clearly you can just feel it seems to be part of Xynteo's culture. I feel that from a lot of your colleagues I've met and talked to. But where does that come from within you? Is there a particular reason that you're so passionate about this?
So I grew up in Western Norway in a farming community, and together with my brother today, I'm an active farmer still.
Wow. Okay.
And how we relate to the land and the the unraveling of the physical world, biodiversity, plastic in the ocean, plastic in the rivers, all of this, I find is disgusting. So for me, this is like unacceptable. At the same time, I feel that we have such enormous resource, but there is something blocking us from doing what we have to do.
Yeah.
And I think that the old legacy KPI systems, that are too many people actually blocked, or they can't move, and they can't do the right thing. So what I'm hoping is that we are able to connect the brightest talent to the biggest projects, and then help advance lots of jobs and new companies in the process.
Wow, that's quite a vision.
But that's what I think we need to do.
Thank you. Well, this has been an amazing conversation. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you.
And
I'm not saying it's easy, but at least we are trying.
Well, no.
Yeah.
But we'd be very interested in your views. So if you've watched this, if you've got ideas, please do comment. And of course, as always, please subscribe.